Bruce, I've never had an evolutionist answer the question of the evolution of the seed. It is an interesting question. Actually, to be honest, I haven't heard one either. I haven't heard a explanation for that. Actually, Glenn, you're a soil scientist. You study soil. You've got a doctorate and all that jazz. Tell us, why is it the seed is a really good well, Diane as well, 'cause you're a biologist, both of you. Why is the seed such a good indication of design?
It has all the DNA for making the plant. And when you look at the complexity of the DNA, you can't have it, occurring by chance. It is so complicated. It took a designer to design it. And remember, what did God do on day 3? He created plants with seed in them. So when you ask the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken. He created the plants with seed in them.
Exactly, and also as well, there's obviously the famous sort of rebuttal from more sort of theistic evolutionists who have qualms with the days of Genesis and things like that, where they say, plants were made on day 3 and then he made the sun and things like that, and that's all out of order and things like that. What do we typically say to those people who have that sort of argument there?
Well, what they need is light, and light was actually made on the first day. The sun and the moon are going to be the sources of light when God finishes the putting the system together. But it doesn't really matter where the light came from. In fact, they're trying to grow seeds in space on the space station there to try and make it a bit more self-sufficient. I don't know how far they've got. I think they might have grown a few lettuce plants or something like that. But those are all grown in artificial light. I did hear the testimony of someone who, before they became a Christian, made a living by growing marijuana. Now, you tend not to grow marijuana out in the open if you live in a place where it's against the law, but they do grow it in warehouses completely closed off from the light and grow it in artificial light. So what you need to grow plants is light. The source of the light, provided it is able to give all of the right wavelengths, doesn't really matter. So on the 4th day, God is still setting up the system to work. He's already invented light. Now he's setting up with the sun and the moon and the stars a way of perpetually providing the light for the earth. So it's not a problem if you have a creator in charge.
Exactly. Yes. And also as well,
what do you need for plant life? You need water. I'm a soil scientist, but unfortunately you don't have to have soil. You can do hydroponics, but you do need the nutrients and you need light. And day 1 and day 2, you already had the water and you already had the light. So day 3, the plants are going to live.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a problem with that not being a sun, well, you're going to have a problem with the new heaven and new earth because there's going to be light and there's not going to be a sun. Thank God's got the capabilities to figure this out.
Exactly. And also as well, it isn't an issue full stop if you take Genesis literally, because plants won't die overnight for the lack of sunlight. And especially because God made the plants fully formed to create the Garden of Eden. These will be plants that already have the reserves needed to carry them through a 24-hour period in order to survive. It's basically it's a non-argument. The theistic evolutionist has the issue, not someone who believes the Bible is true from the very first verse, like we do. And that's my 2 cents on it.
I have a friend, a colleague, soil scientist, and he grows his garden in his basement with no windows. And no, he's not growing marijuana. He's growing his vegetables. He's growing everything.
Yes.
He's got a watering system and a light system, and that's how he gardens.